Very good morning. I am Mr.DHAKSHUNHAAMOORTHY, Assistant Professor, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Department. Subject code 21CS 003, Mobile Application Development, Unit 2, Wireless Mobile Networks. Topic is UMTS 5G Core Network. UMTS stands for Universal Mobile Telecommunication System. This UMTS consists of control plane and user plane. Control plane used to exchange the signaling messages in order to control UV data session. User plane used to exchange user data. In this long-term evolution network, 4G network, there are certain components. So we are going to discuss one by one. User equipment, mobile device which is activated in the 4G network is considered as user equipment. Then the user equipment can able to access this 4G network by registering the details about the particular user equipment subscription detail to the MME. Once the base station E node B, nothing but base station and along with that trans receiver system which receives all the user information from the user equipment and given to the mobility management entity. This mobility management entity is storing all the user subscription details in the home subscriber server HSS, in which we are storing all the user subscription details. Once the new user comes, automatically it is authenticating with the existing detail whichever available in the HSS. Once the valid user alone getting access by MME approval. Once the MME providing approval to service gateway, the user equipment can able to access the 4G network through the service gateway. This service gateway is routing all the information to the packet gateway. Here this packet gateway is directly connected through the public data network. Here E node B provides the radio interface for the UV user equipment. MME mobility management entity, the authentication and security and tracks the UV location, admission control, these kind of functionalities taken care by mobility management entity. Service gateway, anchor point for user data. HSS, home subscriber server, stores subscription information for all the users. PDN, public data network, external network the UV connects to. Here in the 5G network, 5G core network or new generation network, in which the blue colored area which is the core network area, and then the remaining user equipment and G node B portion we are considering as user plane area. We can see one by one. Already we know what is user equipment. In this diagram, user equipment uses iSIM, whereas in the previous 4G network we are using user equipment, the SIM is uSIM, and whereas the 5G network we are using iSIM. It can able to access the 5G network. Once the iSIM mobile devices are considered as a user equipment after it is doing all the registration process and authentication process with the AMF, that means Access Mobility Function Unit. In the previous 4G network, we had MMF, Mobility Management Unit. Here we are using Access Mobility Function to manage the mobile devices and the radio base station. Once AMF evaluating the authentication, then it gives the valid and invalid user information to the other end of the network. So we will see there are functionalities of AUSF, UDM, PCF and session management function, policy control function and unified data management function, authentication function. Details in the forthcoming slides. 5G NR AMF functions. AMF stands for Access and Mobility Management Function. Following are the functions of 5G NR AF node. The termination of RAN CP interface. N2 interface, that means termination of radio access network CP interface. Termination of NAS, that means non-access stratum N1 interface. NAS ciphering and integrity protection, and registration management, connection management, reachability management, mobility management and lawful intercept for AMF events and interface to L1 system. Provide transport for SM messages between UV and SMF. Here SMF stands nothing but session management function. Here the messages between user equipment and session management functions. The transport proxy for routing SM messages, access authentication and access authorization. Provides the transport for SMS messages between user equipment and session management function. Security anchor functionality SEAF. It interacts with the AUSF and the UE, receives the intermediate key that was established as a result of UE authentication process. In this case, USIM based authentication, the AMF retrieves the security material from the AUSF. Security context management SEM receives a key from the SEAF, that means security anchor functionality, that it uses to derive access network specified keys. Location services management for regulatory services, provide transport for location services messages between UV and LMF as well as between RAN and LMF. EPS bearer ID allocation for internetworking with the EPS, UE mobility event notification. In addition to the above mentioned functions, AMF also support functionalities for non-3GPP access networks. The 5G NR UPF functions. UPF functions stands for user plane function. The following are functions of 5G NR user plane function node. The anchor point for inter, inter